This is a chicken cacciatore recipe, and it's made with chicken legs, which are thighs and drumsticks. You can make this recipe in the crock pot. You can make this recipe in the Instapot, but I'm giving you directions to do it on the stovetop in a stock pot. So first we're just going to clean off these mushrooms real gentle with a paper towel. Not going to run any water on them. And then we're going to chunk those and set those aside. You can slice them if you want. This is like a little rustic, so it's also easier to chunk them, but do what you want. Then we're going to dice a red pepper, and you can dice this in small pieces. I'm going to do sort of just medium chunks. I'm going to take out the white pith when I can. It's just a little bitter, but you are cooking this for a long time, so it's not super relevant. About 1 onion. I only have about 3/4 of an onion here because this is old and I got to get rid of it, you know. But I'm dicing that up, and then I'm going to chop up some garlic cloves, and that's just a preference, you know. I like to lay these ingredients on a plate because they go in the dishwasher better than bowls, and that way you don't have a bunch of bowls and a bunch of dishes. You got one plate with your onions, your peppers, and mushrooms. So I'm taking out any of the green bitter roots in there because it's a little bit old garlic, but since we're cooking it, some of those green roots aren't terrible either. Like I said, I'm making this with chicken legs, which are the thighs and the drums. I'm going to put the drum on the right side. I'm going to look for this white mark of delineation, and then I'm going to just sort of angle my knife in there and find it and then cut through. Once you know how to do it, you just miss the bone and you cut right through the joint. So just play with it. Cut off any of the excess fat here, and as a matter of fact, we have some kids coming to dinner tonight. I know they don't want the skin, so I'm just going to take the skin off some of them. You can do this with, you know, boneless, skinless chicken thighs. You don't need, you know, it's the exact same recipe. So if you don't like the skin, don't worry about it. If you're watching calories, get it without the skin. The skin just adds some fat and flavor and texture to the sauce. But again, it doesn't matter. So boneless, skinless, if you don't want to deal with it. Salt and pepper those liberally. So I've got the stock pot going, and it's already been heated. I'm adding in a very light layer of vegetable oil to coat the bottom. And I'm going to sear the chicken in batches. And that just, again, adds texture and flavor. If you're really busy, don't sear it. Just throw it all in. It will be okay. I mean, you know how you like broccoli crispy sometimes, and sometimes you like it boiled? That's the exact same with chicken. It's just a little bit of a different flavor if you don't sear the chicken. But like I said, busy, skip it. Otherwise, sear the chicken for about 4 to 6 minutes on both sides. As you're cooking, the oil continues to get hotter and hotter, and it takes, if you're doing the chicken in batches, it takes less time to brown. So kind of moderate the heat, look at it. Use a splatter guard if there's oil popping everywhere. So once that's seared, just set the chicken aside on the same plate it came from because it's not cooked through yet. You're going to dump everything back in later. And then I'm going to throw in the onions, the peppers, and the mushrooms. I'm going to add a little bit of salt to help it break down. I'm going to cover it, add a little bit of Italian seasoning as well. And cook it for about 5 minutes, but then I'm going to uncover it for another 5 minutes because I do want that liquid to cook off before I start adding in the rest of the stuff. And again, this is just technique. It's not super important. It's just like upping your cooking game a little bit. So this is 5 minutes covered, 5 minutes uncovered. At the end of that, and the video totally, I skipped out and filmed my feet for some of this, so I'm sorry. So what happened here is after that 5 minutes, I added the garlic for a couple of minutes until it was fragrant, mixed that all up. I added the red wine, which is about 2/3 of a cup, and I added some capers, which are optional. And then I added the chicken back in, and then I just cooked that for about 5 minutes until that red wine reduced, and then I add 28 ounces of the crushed tomatoes, and this has crushed tomatoes with basil, just for a little extra flavor. And cook that covered for about 20 minutes. Just get it going, get the simmer going, and you can see it's pretty liquidy. And the fat in the chicken is going to thicken that up, especially the next day. But then I'm going to uncover it and then cook that for another 25 minutes, and the chicken will be cooked through there. At that point, the fat is like coming off, so you can even take the fat off afterwards if you don't like it. If you want to make this sauce really thick, you would shred the chicken, but I like to make it real rustic, just give you the whole chicken with the bone. I'm going to taste this and add salt to taste. I'm going to serve this over spaghetti, add a little bit of fresh basil. You could also serve this over zucchini noodles, and you can see the fat coming right there. I'm just going to take it off, and I'm just showing you can shred it there, and or serve on the bone. You can find this recipe for chicken cacciatore with dark meat at eatsimplefood.com.